You know what the going on. What's going on, my good people? This your boy Life Up the Entertainer, here to bring you some action between Howard University and FAMU. This is gonna be a different type of battle, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. Look, FAMU is really known to put on a clinic on the field, and Howard is actually pretty good on the field too. So don't let them fool you. Howard's pretty good on that field. I think Howard was one of the strongest bands on the field in their class as well. So this is going to be interesting to see them two go head to head, okay? Now, before we get into this and I give out the scale and everything, I would like to mention that there's no favoritism involved because of the footage that I received. This is me looking for pure research and only, so when they went against Howard, I could barely find any footage of Howard. So I went with the cleanest footage I could find that's in the front view, okay? They had some footage on the side view, but they could not really help me determine what I needed to see. So I feel like at least if I could see things from the front, it can work out. Now, I could not find FAMU footage as far as this type of footage is concerned. I only went with their media team because that was the only footage I can truly find of this, okay? So don't shoot the messenger, but I'm going to give it to you raw and uncut. I can still see what I need to see just looking at this, okay? Even if I can't see the full clean formations, look, I'm still looking for 8-5, step-offs, all that from what I can see, even the dancers and whatnot. So I can see what I need to see to get them by, okay? Now, before we get into the scale, I would like to say, if you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I grade all HBCU content, especially the HBCUs that do not get enough love. That's me. I will grade them, okay? Whenever I get a chance to put them on my radar, I will give them as much praise as I can to give them as much exposure as I can. Now, I am a band critic, so sometimes it can be good takes, and sometimes it can be bad takes, but at the end of the day, it's all love here. There's no favoritism, okay? So, I'm going to shut up. Let's look at the scale. Look to the cards next to me so you know what we're grading. We're grading entrance, songs, formations, dancers, breakdown, overall creativity. Maximum points they can make all together is 25, with the extra incentive from creative they could possibly run into a 30, okay? Now, what I would say when we look into this battle is that Howard actually has dancers, okay? Howard actually has dancers. FAMU does not. I think that's just a traditional thing. They make up for it in their field show, but FAMU does not have any dancers, so they have to make up for their end of the bargain through the creative department. So they would not get an exemption for their dancers. They would just get marked off for it, but I give them a chance to redeem themselves in the creative department to make up for the difference, okay? Now, it's really up to FAMU to see what they pull on this, so hopefully they might be able to, do what they need to do, but hey, don't sleep on Howard. Howard can punch a giant too. So, just want to throw that out there before we get into it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm rooting for both bands, and sometimes these scales you can get a tie as well. So, at the end of the day, it's all love. This is just my fair take on the battle, okay? I don't even think anybody actually covered this, to be honest with you. So I think this would be good because for purposes of validation as well, okay? So with that being said, let's get into the action. We're going to start with Howard first, and then we're going to move on to FAMU's, okay?
From the heart of the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., representing excellence, tradition, and unshakable HBCU pride, make some noise for the powerhouse of precision, rhythm, and showmanship, the Howard University Showtime Marching Band! Making their debut for the 2025-26 season are drum majors, the bad news from Heaven through to 8 Rico Suave.
lot more energy in it.
Nasty dancer. Dancing for money. Do what we wanna do. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, the FAMU University Showtime Marching Band. The University Showtime Marching Band is under the direction of Professor and Director of Bands, Mr. Chancellor Mills, Associate Director of Bands.
Alrighty. So let's give it a grade, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it a grade. So entrance, I'm gonna give entrance a 4. Songs a 5. Formations a 5. Dancers a 5. Breakdown a 3. Creativity is a 5. Okay. So I'm gonna give the score first, and I'm gonna explain why they scored what they scored. Okay. They did get a passing grade from me. They did get a 27, by the way. But one thing I would add, as far as the initial take on it, when we look at the entrance, I feel like the drum edges can just be slightly cleaner. I did give them a credit for making the smoke appear and whatnot. That was pretty dope. Just feel like it could be slightly cleaner. Now, granted, this is the beginning of the year. Definitely want to throw that out there. This is the beginning of the year, so I can only imagine what this field show or what their rest of their field show will look like for the rest of the year. So I will be grading that too, by the way. But breakdown was good. I just feel like it needed to be cleaner, and also they needed one more feature for me to say, hey, they did it. Okay, now granted, I don't know if they did anything when I got to the sidelines. I'm just going off of the footage that I got, but I still feel like regardless if they did or not, I feel like it was still lacking as far as it being cleaner. Okay, they had some energy in it. There were some people kind of slightly confused in it, dance moves, but like I said, I feel like it can be just a tad bit cleaner, but it was still a passing grade for me. Okay, now with that being said, I think one of the best things about this field show to take from it is that dancers did phenomenal. Dancers was really whooping some ass on the field from what I can see. Okay. And then the fact that the field show was very direct, they utilized their field well. That's what I liked about it as well. Okay? So, with that being said, let's move on to FAMU. Okay? So, if you made it this far in the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I went with FAMU's media because they didn't have any footage like that was good. So, I just went with FAMU's media. Not me being biased at all. I know some people might think that, but no, it's not. I'm going to be looking for everything just as hard. Because if it's a clear video, I can really see. Okay? So, just want to throw that out there. But, again, just a reminder, they don't have any dancers, so they have to make up for it in the creative department. So, let's see if FAMU capitalize on it. Okay?
It's your time. The drum majors, piccolo's, clarinets, saxophones, trumpets, French horns, trombones, baritones, tubas, the percussion section, and the flagpole, and all the rifles in South Florida. You know what's in front of you. We'd like to thank Howard University for making your trip to Washington, D.C. Remember, summer band camp is in July next year. You want a dance routine? 100. Get it.
Slightly cleaner.
Class dismissed.
Alrighty, let's give it a grade. Alrighty. So, entrance, I'm gonna give them a 5. Songs, I'm gonna give them a 5. Formations, I'm gonna give them a 4. Dancers, they get the exemption for that. They do not get any points for that. Breakdown, I'm gonna give them a 4. Okay. Creativity, I'm gonna give them a 6. Now, I'm going to say this, and it might be a controversial take for some people, but I got to just keep it 100. This is the beginning of the season, okay? This is the beginning of the season, so I'm not expecting things to be there directly already, okay? Now, I know how FAMU can get down. They're a phenomenal band, but I think this is one of their weakest performances, okay? Man, don't get mad at me. Don't shoot the messenger. They did good, yes. They did some creative things on there, but I feel like it was lacking in the creative department just a little bit more. And also, things can be slightly cleaner, okay? Now, this is my critique. Formations, 8 to 5. 8 to 5. They had some slight 8 to 5 issues when they was marching in that formation, okay? I'm going to put arrows on it and whatnot. There's nothing they can do about it now. Again, this is the beginning of the season, okay? Also, when we look at the breakdown, I felt like the breakdown was very, very solid. They gave me enough features. I just felt like it can just be a tad bit cleaner. They had the energy, definitely. I just feel like they could be a tad bit cleaner. And with the creativity, I just feel like I kind of explained that earlier. I feel like they were just missing just an initial edge in there. Okay? So let's give it a grade. The They got them a 24. A 24. Okay? So, hey, it is what it is, but I don't think that was a passing grade for me from FAMU. I seen them do better. Alright? So, we want to know who won this battle. Okay? Now, it might be a controversial take from y'all, but this is just my opinion. So just trust your boy on this, okay? We know what bands can stack up when they progress throughout the semester, okay? So this doesn't deter them as far as their capabilities, either band, okay? But on the scale, how I'm looking, I have to give this battle to Howard University, okay? And I'm going to explain why. Howard, even though it was a close footage, you know what I'm saying, 8 to 5 was consistent. Nobody was lacking in the 8 to 5 department, okay? Now, the entries could have been cleaner, yes, and I feel like the breakdown could have victory, and they could have been a little bit cleaner in that as well. But it was just enough for them to do what they need to do because they did everything they needed to do in the creative department, okay? I know that's things straightforward. Some people might be like, oh, well, they didn't do this and they didn't want to do that. Look, I'm trying to tell you that sometimes you can't always base things off of what looks good. You got to look at every little small detail, which makes a great field show. Okay? So, FAMU was just lacking in this one for me. Okay? So, yeah, that's my verdict. I had to give this one to Howard. Okay? But don't let that deter you from watching my channel. I got more battles to grade from Howard, and I'm finna finish up on FAMU season. Okay, so be looking out for my next video after this. I got 2 more things I'm gonna be grading for them. They got their gospel show, and I'm gonna be grading their homecoming. So I think it's gonna be night and day in their performance, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so with that being said, man, I'm finna get up out of here, man. Like I tell you always, deuces.